WXEI Danbury 91.7 FM.
Let's go. Atomic batteries to power. Turbines to speed. Roger. Ready to move out.
Captain America said you gotta be like me or you're gonna wind up dead. That's at the end of your road. Flat broke down and tired. You sleepyhead, won't you go to bed? Let me run your line. If I go crazy, then will you still call me Superman? If I'm alive, then well, will you be there holding my hand? Savior of the universe. Everybody come on.
Hey guys, welcome back to East Meets West. I am Flamehawk.
And I am the Gentleman Snark.
Now we're going to be discussing some different matters on the nerd and otaku subcultures, and we're going to be discussing the news, as well as we have a few surprises. Especially, we have the Gamers Gambit on, the local comic shop of here, our hometown, Danbury, Connecticut. So, we have an interesting take on what comics are and how they're perceived from a comic book shop perspective.
Yes, we had a very lovely interview with a very lovely representative. So, without further ado, let's jump right into the news aspect here.
Now, there's a few different titles for Spider-Man being kicked around recently. This is speculated because Sony has bought a few domain names, such as Spider-Man Homecoming the movie, Spider-Man Coming of Age, Spider-Man Greatness Awaits movie.com, Spider-Man Suspended movie.com. Now, I don't really care for any of those, but if I would go for one, it would be Homecoming, because Homecoming kind of relates back to the Spider-Man 252 and how the first symbiote kind of made an appearance right there. So, if anything, I'd go there, but I don't really care for any of them, but it does make it interesting is if it is Homecoming, will we be able to see symbiote in our first enemy? Would Venom be the first enemy in the movie? I don't know. That leaves up the possibility. But he's not going to be alone in his standalone film. This was confirmed by Kevin Feige recently, and he said recently to EW, he is in the universe now, and the fun of the universe is that the characters go back and forth. So that means they're going to have some interactions with people in his movie, but who is it going to be? Captain America? Iron Man? No one really knows, and Feige hasn't really covered much more into that. But we have that on the Spider-Man news, so we'll be seeing more of him. And I know we've gotten hate from our criticism of the character so far, but it looks interesting, and it does seem like he will be a valuable new member of the MCU.
So, while we're on the topic of superheroes, One Punch Man is getting its sixth and final OVA. Very interesting here. So, apparently in this OVA, it is called The Murder Case That Is Too Impossible. So, apparently it's, when you look at the trailer for the OVA, which is set to come out on Blu-ray and DVD on May 27th, apparently one of the heroes that were in the, because they all went to a spa house, it seems, one of the heroes got stabbed and with a sword and apparently is dead. So, interestingly enough, within this OVA, we get to see a few more of the S-class heroes that we haven't seen as of yet in the actual, official series. And a bit of spoilers here, but the one hero that was stabbed looked a lot, I believe that was Zombie Man. And for those of you who have actually read, the webcomic series, already knows what Zombie Man is all about and him being stabbed, so I won't spoil it for anyone who doesn't know, who has not read the manga or webcomic. But yeah, I believe the hero that was stabbed and apparently was murdered, air quotes, was Zombie Man, which if you read the series, you know where this is gonna go. And then we also get to see another hero, the Lightspeed Flash. We also see him make an appearance within the trailer, and he's also gonna be making an appearance in this OVA, it seems. So yeah, we're gonna see a few new characters within this OVA. This is set to be the final OVA for One Punch Man series until we get like a season 2, which has yet to be announced, but we're all dying for it. Yeah, that's One Punch Man, the 6th and final OVA, the murder case that is too impossible. It is set to ship out on Blu-ray and DVD on May 27th. So very much looking forward to seeing how this all works out. Apparently all the S classes are just coming there to a spa day to pretty much relax, and as we all know, our favorite hero Saitama is just there just for the lulz. So kind of interesting to see how this works out. Because I've read the series, I kind of know what kind of nonsense is gonna happen here, but I'm still interested to look forward to it either way. So once again, last OVA, 6th one, the murder case that is too impossible, coming out May 27th. And back to Flamehawk.
Now, yesterday we had the trailer, or whatever they want to call it. Basically, we got our first glimpse of Rogue One, the new Star Wars story coming out that deals with taking the plans for the Death Star and stealing them from the Imperial Army. Now, this is getting some hate because it looks alright. It doesn't look great by any standards, but it doesn't look bad. And there's one thing that there is rumors about, like, why it's getting so much hate, is that it is another female lead character, Felicity Jones, taking the main lead, and she's going to be the main hero in the film while stealing from the Imperials. So it looks interesting. I have nothing against her, but some fans definitely aren't used to seeing up front in major female main protagonist for the series. But it looks decent, and with the cast of Felicity Jones, Diego Luna, Forrest Whitaker, and more, this film looks to be pretty decent. And if it's made by the person who has done and directed Godzilla, which is alright, Gareth Edwards, we can be in for some surprise. And the screenplay is going to be written by Chris Weitz, who's known for Cinderella and Ants. So, not bad, not good. It looks pretty decent. I'll say, for right now, I will not reserve judgment on this movie until I can get a future and more in-depth glimpse of the movie itself.
Well, for all of you Naruto fans out there, I have some potentially good news. In May, particularly May 5th, the Naruto anime is finally coming out of its filler hell. Congratulations! Yay! On May 5th, the episode is hinted towards it's gonna have the main antagonist of the series, Kaguya, finally make its appearance for the one last showdown to decide the whole Naruto the ninja universe. So finally, we are getting back into the main story of Naruto, and hopefully it will remain so we can finally finish this. I have no idea what Studio Clown's up to, but at least we're getting something here. But in the meantime, we still have to, until then, folks will still have to deal with the Itachi storyline, which is based off the novel, so if you're a fan of that, you should be able to enjoy it. But for those of you who are really wanting the main story to come back so the series can finally end, rest assured, May 5th, they got you covered. Now, I can't guarantee if they'll keep this up until the official end of the series, but yeah, you gotta take it in strides, I guess. So yeah, May 5th, 2016, the Naruto anime is finally getting back on track and there's no more filler for now. So for all you anime fans, Naruto anime fans, rejoice.
Now for some Kingsman news. Looks like Colin Firth's character is not dead. Yes, that is right. He is not dead.
So wait, Galahad's wait, what?
Well, in the new poster for Kingsman: The Golden Circle, we get to see reports of my death have been greatly exaggerated.
Oh my gosh, Galahad's back.
Now, we aren't saying he's back, but we are implying it. Because
we're kind of like, what, 70% sure?
We're 70% sure, because looking at that, it looks like he's back. He he's back.
But then again, I have like a question though. What's gonna happen to Eggsy though? Because Eggsy kind of took over the role of Galahad. So how that would work?
More of a mentorship, I guess.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Well, he could take the head of Kingsman. He can take the head role of Kingsman. Now that the main Kingsman person kind
I
of
believe his name was Arthur. Yeah.
Yep. Now that he has died, heads up there. We just might see him back.
So, for all you Kingdom Hearts fan, Kingdom Hearts Unchained X has finally came out in North America. Woo! So basically, Kingdom Hearts Unchained X is basically the prequel game to the entire series, and it is also based off Kingdom Hearts X, which used to be the PC game, which since now it's going to be on both iOS and Android, it has been stated that Square Enix is going to discontinue service for the PC game. So for those of you out there, you may want to hurry up and get that app quick because that PC game is going to go kaput real soon. So, looks to be a pretty decent game. A lot of customizations with your characters, Keyblade wielders, and all that kind of stuff. I've never played this, not even the first one, and I'm really curious to see how this even ties into the stories of the game, like, at all, because Kingdom Hearts 3, yeah, a lot of people are waiting for that here. So I'm wondering if this prequel might give a little bit of hints to what's going to happen in Kingdom Hearts 3. It's literally anybody's guess. Might be just a bit of a grasp here. But yeah, Kingdom Hearts Unchained X came out. It's for iOS and Android. Feel free to download that if you can. I can't because I have a Windows phone. Sad face for me. But yeah, interesting game all the same. Hope you guys have fun out there, and
looks like those rumors of the Suicide Squad being made funnier are a rumor, and this is debunked by Jai Courtney, who plays Captain Boomerang. So we're going down under when he says, I wouldn't say we're going back to make it funnier. There's some additional action stuff we've been doing, which is pretty dope. Really, we're just adding in that sense. Can't believe everything you read. So it is nice because if they're trying to make the movie funnier and change the tone so much within a small period before the movie comes out in the editing process, there's no way it's going to be good. So this is definitely good news to hear on the DC front. While Batman v Superman might not be what you hoped, it looks like this might be the saving grace besides Wonder Woman in the DCEU.
So, Death Note fans, interesting news here. Netflix has finally acquired the rights to the live-action adaptation of the movie. Yay? So that's a thing there, but more interestingly enough, there has been some key visuals about the new live-action Death Note movie, which has shown teaser vids of both the new detective Ryuzaki, who's going to be taking over the mantle of L, and also the cyber terrorist who reveres the vigilante Kira a whole lot. So yeah, for those of you who don't know about the new live-action Death Note series, it's basically going to be a battle between gathering, I believe, 16 Death Notes that have scattered all over the world, and it's going to be a war between the cyber terrorist that is a big fan of Kira and the new world's greatest detective, the new L, Ryuzaki. So yeah, very interesting to see. There's been some key visuals of the characters that have actually been posted up, so feel free to check out our Twitter page if you want to see more of that. So,
well, the magic of Doctor Strange now lies in the editing. Yes, that is right. The Doctor Strange filming has commenced, and now it is in the computer lab, where it will be released in November on the 4th this year, and this will continue the Phase 3 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it looks to be decent. There definitely looks to be some decent characters in here, and there definitely looks to be some decent scenes in here, just looking from the real-life footage itself. Not saying the magic where it's going to be added in post, but for right now, it looks like it will be a decent film. I cannot exactly say what exactly is going on here, but it looks pretty decent. Now, I gotta say, the Mads Mikkelsen's character looks pretty nice. There's some speculation on who he is going to be, because he hasn't been officially announced on the villain, but it looks pretty nice with the visual aspiring, not sure how to call it, but it looks pretty nice. And you might know Mads Mikkelsen from his recent role in Hannibal, and that guy sure can play one scary villain. And he is also in Rogue One, which is a nice treat to see him in both series. So, no word on any of those on who he's going to be yet, but he is in both of those films later this year. So it looks to definitely be interesting. And now, stay tuned for news on the comic industry from the local comic shop, Gamer's Gambit.
Yes, it's a very lovely interview where we get to learn a lot of interesting things about the comic universe. So without further ado, please enjoy the interview.
Hey guys, this is Flamehawk.
And I'm the Gentleman Snark.
We have a few exciting guests on our show today, and they are from the Gamer's Gambit.
Hello, my name is Kelly. As you heard, I work at the Gamers Gambit.
We have a few interesting things to talk about on the state of comic books and what Gamer Gambit is actually about. But first, some warm-up questions, like DC or Marvel?
Aw, man. Definitely Marvel. Have to go with Marvel. Or a Thor person.
Definitely agree with you there.
So why Marvel, out of curiosity?
I don't know. DC really just took some bad decisions and a lot of awful choices in my opinion, like the whole New 52. I was not really a big fan of that. And then recently, I don't know if you guys have heard the news, but they're actually going to come out with a whole new selection of number ones. So that is both a little exciting and kind of scary on the comic front. Not sure how that's...
The name's Rebirth, right?
Yes.
How do you think that's going to go?
Honestly, the New 52, when it first came out, it did a lot better than I expected. I heard a lot of terrible things online before it came out. Like, I know people had beef with Harley Quinn's outfit and, like, a lot of the retconned histories. But this, I don't know. New number ones are a really good way of hooking some new people into the comic industry. So, fingers crossed. Hopefully, no downfalls.
Hopefully.
You wouldn't happen to be thinking DC's kind of running out of ideas here, would you?
A little bit. Like, I mean, I don't want to get too much into the whole Batman versus Superman movie discussion, but, no, those are not some good faces.
No.
But, they're really trying to cram, I think, too much into one thing, in my opinion. Too many sardines in the can.
Definitely. So, you work at Gamers Gambit. Do you, is it really, do you guys support any indie titles there? Is it really, indie title good favorite?
Yeah, so actually our staff current pick is a indie comic called Rat Queens.
Mm-hmm.
It follows kind of like a D&D party of all-female characters, and they get through a lot of terrible shenanigans. They're actually hired to defend the city, but they have their own ideas of how they're going to defend it, and also their own ideas of how they're going to be rewarded afterwards. So indie comics are actually very strong in the industry currently. Also, one called Monstrous just recently came out, and it has been doing phenomenally. It actually blends the genres of American comics and anime very well, in my opinion. So it is hands down one of the most beautiful comics I've seen this year.
It definitely sounds very interesting. Like the mixture of manga and comics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Kind of like we're doing here on the show.
So what's special about the Gamer's Gambit?
So what I really like personally about the Gamers Gambit, I'm a little biased because I work there, but it's a really wonderful store. We really try to address every type of gaming type there is. So we do Magic the Gathering, we do a lot of card games, so like Pokemon as well. We do D&D, we also do board game night, so we try to really address a lot of different kind of, I guess, nerdy subcultures. It's really nice. It's a nice melting pot. Got really nice crowd.
What would you say is the most popular draw there, like Magic or comic books?
Probably Magic, just because we do have this really lovely display case just filled with like blinged out Magic cards. Aw man, it's really gorgeous. But probably Magic. A lot of people heard about the store first initially through Magic. We have some really awesome judges who have also been certified and work there. So really, I think Magic. But comics are still up there. We get a lot of comic people in, and it's fun to talk about it too.
Would you say that online stores kind of hurt the business in a sense, just a little bit?
I would definitely say so, at least a little bit. Like Barnes and Nobles has a very big selection of board games and Magic and things like that, and it does definitely bite a little bit into us as more of a small business because even though we are out there a lot and we have really nice publicity, thank you guys, it's still Barnes and Nobles, that's one of the first things you think of, so it does bite a little bit into it.
So would you say the online aspect helps or hurts comics in a sense?
A little column A, a little column B. It hurts because you can go anywhere online. Like, I think I saw Hot Topic is now selling comic issues, so you can go pretty much anywhere and get a comic issue. I think it helps though where hype really is being driven to, like, people can talk about it online. Like, man, I knew the hype for the Batman vs Superman movie came out was huge. People were so stoked about talking about it, about like theorizing about what was going on. So I definitely feel like it's a really nice like silver lining of the industry, but also kind of a dark cloud.
Another random question here. What exactly would you say is your favorite comic book character?
Oh no, you put me on the spot. Currently, I'm actually gonna throw back to Rat Queens and probably say Hannah, who's the leader of the Rat Queens. She's a spunky, take-no-crap wizard. She's really fun. She leads the group around. She has a really, really great sense of humor where she's like, screw you guys, I'm gonna go to the bar and get some awesome beers and then party and go kill some ogres. Woohoo! So she's really cool, and I think she's probably one of my favorites. A little more mainstream though, probably Mighty Thor. I know that's a little unpopular. People don't like the whole gender swap thing going on, but I really like female Thor, so.
Speaking of that, like, what do you think of like the whole like gender swap? You're a fan of that, right?
Personally, yeah. I guess I'm more okay with it with something like Thor, for example, because Thor in my mind is more of like an idea. Like when Odin enchanted Mjolnir, and he was like, only the worthy person can like be Thor. That definitely took it more from a person aspect, in my opinion, to a title, so it's easier for someone to come along and pick it up, like the new female Thor. I think with something more like Batman is more like a person, so like you can't have, I don't know, I feel weird saying you can't, but like it would be a little more of a jarring shift in my mind to go from like Batman to like Batman woman.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's definitely been interesting, like seeing the different characters they've been putting out, like Falcon as Captain America, then some different characters like being put into new roles. Like, I like how Kitty Pryde is now kind of Star-Lord.
yeah, I really like their relationship together. Oh man, her and Peter Quill are so like funny and just witty together.
What do you think, like, the comic books can do, like, more for, like, getting more of, like, an audience, like, especially, like, feeding more to, like, the girl audience, because that's actually a big factor in the comics that it's not really being recognized, kind of.
I definitely think, with definitely Marvel in particular, they're taking really great strides forwards. Not to say DC isn't either. They're a little less on the forefront with making really cutting edge and more just modernized decisions with their heroes. So I really think comic industries and comic companies should just take the initiative and go with these female characters. Like, finally, Wonder Woman is getting her own movie. I've heard so many people get so excited about this, guys and girls alike, so I think it's definitely an area that should be explored more.
In my opinion, she was the only, like, saving grace of Batman v Superman.
I heard that too. I love to hear that.
Speaking of Batman v Superman, I've been hearing a lot of mixed opinions about this. I just want to hear like a brief take. What did you think of the movie Batman v Supes?
Oh man. Well, it was definitely more of a like an older take on Batman and Superman, in my opinion. Like the comic that it was based on, The Dark Knight, was more of like the 80s gritty Batman where he, am I allowed to say spoilers? Is that all right? Or, well, yeah.
Spoiler warning.
Spoiler warning. But he kills apparently, so like that is something that he used to do a lot in the 80s. So I think it's a weird choice after seeing the Dark Knight series and seeing like the Christian Bale Batman, to suddenly then go back and take this really hard edge Batman who's like, I don't care what anyone says, screw everything. So I don't know. It was a lot of weird decisions. Also, I think they threw way too much into the movie, personally. They tried to cram so much into it with, like, Wonder Woman and then hints of the Justice League and then, just don't... Bad in my opinion. Not the greatest decisions.
Yeah, they just tried to play like a game of catch-up because they're so far behind Marvel at this point. In the MCU and DC EU, or whatever they call it now. One thing that I've always wondered is, like, how does, like, comic book stores, like, get, like, the comic books to their stores? Is that through the publishers themselves, or what's the process?
So personally, we go through a third-party distributor called Diamond. We go through and I believe they're the ones who get it from Marvel and DC, and then they ship them to us. So we go through them as a distributor, and that's where we get our figures. It's where we get all of our comics, including our indie comics. So they're pretty much where we get everything. And also any small things like Funko Pops. I know those are really popular now, so those are also things we get from Diamond. So.
I see you're wearing a Free Comic Book Day shirt. What is Free Comic Book Day for the people who don't know?
So Free Comic Book Day is the first Saturday in May. This year it's going to be May 7th, 2016. It's an all-day event where you just show up to the comic book store, particularly the Gamer's Gambit. You'll be able to take pictures with cosplayers. We're going to have a Rey from Star Wars, so I'm very excited to see that. We have a Black Widow also showing up, so you get to meet some people who dress up as your favorite characters. You get to snag some really cool titles for free comics, so they're coming out with the Archie series as a free comic. Also, one of my personal kind of like smaller comic titles, Lady Mechanica, is also getting a bunch of free titles for Free Comic Book Day. And then they also do things for kids too, so like they have Adventure Time, they have My Little Pony, so it's just a really good way to get in and kind of have a little taste of all the different comics that are coming out. And you don't need to feel obligated to buy them, but you can still enjoy them and pick them up.
Well, that's very nice there, especially for people who are trying to get into comic books, because because there's always so many comic books. It's always so hard to like get into it. Like, where do you start? Where to begin? Like, another question though, for someone that wants to get into comic books, like where would you advise them to, like, where to start, where to begin on this?
Personally, I would probably recommend trade paperbacks, just because I actually really like the collection of them, and it's so much easier than having to figure out how you're going to organize your individual issues, because I've gone through the process of having a bunch of issues and then one trade paperback and not knowing how to really organize them. Also, honestly, just get out and talk to people about things that you like, so feel free to go into your local comic book store and go up to one of the employees and be like, hey, I really like Deadpool because he's snarky and witty. Do you know anything else that might be really good? 9 times out of 10, they're going to be really happy to help you out, and they're going to be so excited to talk about it. Maybe not that like weird 10 out of 10 guy, I don't know, he's like probably a little grumpy that day, but everyone else is going to be really happy to talk to you about that and just show you all of the really cool titles.
How has comic books like affected your life?
Aw, man. So personally, I do attend WestCon. I am going for creative writing, and I can bring all of that back to comics. I can bring it back to manga. I can bring it back to pretty much all of the just animated and non-animated literature. So comics have definitely impacted me. Also, when I was younger, I really wanted to be Wonder Woman. Also a little bit of Batman, like Wonder Bat or something. Very cool. But just it really helped me with my imagination. It helped me get out there and make friends. Again, like talking to people about the things I liked. So comics are really great.
Yeah, we definitely agree with that statement. Yeah.
Quick thing though, you mentioned manga. Do you read any mangas? Like, I
do. I haven't read a lot of the recent ones. I think my most recent series was actually Attack on Titan, which I love. Oh my gosh. Also, just the difference between the anime and the manga astounded me. Oh my goodness. But really great. Also, my personal favorite, and I know this is kind of like a little bit of an oldie, but Madoka Magica.
Ooh.
Love it.
I just finished watching the third movie for that.
Oh gosh.
That's a good series.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. Oh man, if you're an anime fan and you haven't seen it, please, for the love of God, at least do it for me, or the love of Madoka. Though, I have to ask, what did you think about the ending, without any spoilers? I know people are kind of torn on that.
Trippy as heck. It was just a complete mind, like, what? I had trouble understanding what happened. All that trouble for what?
You know, like, at the end, I was like, did that just happen? I was looking over at him like, did that just happen? Did that honestly? What? So, but
it's very for those of you who are thinking of watching after this, be warned, it's a good series, but it is a mind boggle. It will screw with you just a bit.
Also have a tissue box nearby. Oh, definitely.
Are there any future like comic titles you're looking forward to? Like, I know Punisher is coming out in May, and like we just had the Black Panther #1 in Poe Dameron released today. So, any interesting titles you're looking forward to?
Honestly, you just hit them both on the right on the head. Black Panther, I flipped through it, and it is such a breath of fresh air. It addresses both the whole fantasy aspect, but also real world issues, and it's gorgeous art and a really, really strong story. Also, Poe Dameron, come on now, who doesn't love them some Poe? So for the Gamer's Gambit, what we were doing with the Poe Dameron issues is if you came in and got them, or got #1, you got a free lithograph and also a cute either BB-8 button or like a Poe Dameron button, so we still have some if you want to check it out. But it's going to actually follow Poe Dameron's story as him as a rebellion pilot, so a little bit before The Force Awakens. and I definitely recommend it for any Star Wars fans. Oh my goodness, it is so phenomenal. All of that snark.
The only one complaint I have is like they have so much time to between where the Force Awakens starts and where the last film ended. So it's you have a 30-year gap, but it's kind of hard to get everything in that time frame for one comic.
I'm really excited in that instance for the movies that are going to come out because I want to know everything that happens in between it, and I especially want to know, seeing as the expanded universe has kind of been gutted, we don't really know what kind of falls in that anymore. So
well, it's been kind of gutted. It's kind of just reconned into the new.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see them explain a few things in that. So
we since we mentioned Black Panther, I gotta ask, what are your opinions on Civil War?
Oh man. Well, personally, I am probably more on Team Captain America, even though I prefer Iron Man. I love me some Tony Stark, but Captain America definitely has the right idea and mentality. I don't know, the whole registry is just so odd to really force upon heroes with their powers, so I really like the dichotomy there. And I'm also interested to see, because I know the Civil War, I believe I've read, it has nothing to do with the Marvel movie coming out, because they have a few different Civil War arcs. So I'm really interested to also see Bucky Barnes in that, and the whole Winter Soldier, and just the rivalry then between Tony and Steve and Bucky. So
another quick thing though, because there was a bit of a teaser that kind of teased Black Panther and Captain America. Who do you think would win in a fight between those two?
No.
Who do you think would win?
That shield is really kind of just crazy. I was gonna swear, but I don't know if I think I can. But the shield is kind of BS, so I don't know. It follows its own physics, so I think, as much as I don't want to, I'm gonna have to go with Captain America. I'm sorry.
Why? Oh my god. He only has one vibranium shield. Panther has an entire suit made of vibranium.
He's got an entire country of it.
Even better!
Well, Civil War 2 just got announced a few weeks ago. What do you think of the whole different Civil Wars being made? Do you think they're pushing it too far, or do you think they're justified in doing that?
I think they're pushing it a little too far. I think it's gonna possibly fall under what happened with the Convergence, where it was Convergence and just all of the different titles, and it got very confusing, and the story arcs kind of just bled together, and it didn't work out very well. So I think they might be trying to bite off more than they can chew. Also, I don't know why Iron Man would really start beef with Ms. Marvel. That seems to be what's going on in Civil War 2 from what I've seen. So I don't know. I think Marvel needs to not follow in the paths of DC. See, that's why honestly I made the mistake. But they're starting, I think, to get a little too hyped and excited with what they have. So they need to calm down just a little.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. All right, we talked about Rebirth a little bit. I heard they're going back into the pre-Flashpoint. So what do you? And they're scrapping the entire 52 together. What do you think about that?
I mean, so many people jumped in on the new 52 because it was just like how the Rebirth is. It was so easy for new fans to get into it. So I think they're really going to disappoint a few people who are seriously invested in some of those story arcs that they're working on and putting out right now. Because, at least to my understanding, they're just doing away with all of that. They're just completely coming out with new number ones. And as nice as it is to again have that sort of opening for new comic fans, they're definitely throwing some shade on their older comic fans with just throwing all of these new stories and new iterations at them. So as much as I hope the Rebirth does well, I see it a little tough for it to do well.
Yeah, this is the problem with DC. I want to get invested in it, but at the same time, if they're just gonna turn it over in 5 years, what's really the point?
Exactly, and that's one of my other comic team that I talk to a lot. We were bouncing that back and forth, just how are people honestly going to want to go out and buy all of these comics and issues if possibly 4 months down the road DC's no, let's just basketball that into the trash can. So
well, if anything, serves as a good collector's item.
Seriously, a very nice paperweight or something.
Yeah.
I mean, with all this, I'm wondering if the cause of all this could be because DC keeps writing themselves into a corner.
I definitely think that might have to do with it. I know one of their old retcons. I actually think the New 52 happened because Superboy punched the world or something.
He punched like the universe or something.
Like the whole multiverse. And I don't know. I feel like DC just keeps coming up with these really great beginnings, and then they're like, we keep needing to make it bigger and bigger, and then finally it gets too big, and like, how do you finish it? Just like you said, how do they put a cap on that? So
that's one reason I'm like for Marvel. Like the one time like they've refreshed it, it was actually like once in like 60 or so years, like just like because getting the whole multiverse kind of add Miles Morales into the more mainframe reason of it. So that's kind of my take on it.
So, on the whole comic book era here, we're on to comics. What do you think of Spider-Gwen? Because him and I had a bit of a conversation. He prefers Silk, but after a while, I'm more Spider-Gwen. What say you guys? What you, brother?
Personally, probably more Spider-Gwen. I really, really loved Gwen, and I love Silk. She's just less of a spider in my mind, and more of kind of like a bandit, because she works with Black Cat and she like does all of those like burglaries. Sorry. So she's still part of the Spider family, but more like a distant cousin. While Spider-Gwen still has like kind of the snarky wit, but also has like the very slight broody touch that not a lot of Spider-Mans have about them. So I really like Spider-Gwen.
On the topic of Spider-Gwen, Gwenpool is coming out next week, right?
Yep. Aw, man. I don't know if you guys caught her holiday special, but it was absolutely hilarious. I am so excited to see her go on all of her crazy adventures. I actually think in her upcoming issue, she's with the MODOK assassin, MODOK, tomato.
Yeah.
And they just get on a lot of crazy shenanigans, and a lot of people are wondering, how is Gwenpool still alive? She probably should be dead by now. She's done a lot of silly stuff, but you know, I guess Viva la Deadpool. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Have you seen any of like the Doctor Strange footage from like what they've been shooting in New York recently?
I have seen Benedict Cumberbatch, and I have seen him, I guess, synchronized jump in a GIF, but I have not followed up a lot of the news on Doctor Strange, unfortunately. I did hear, though, that he visited a comic book shop, which is so cool. Oh, man, like, if Benedict Cumberbatch is listening, please come visit Gamers Gambit. Like, we would love that. That would be amazing. But, yes, actors, keep doing that. That's so great.
And full costume and everything.
Like, oh, man.
It's always
my life.
It's always great when they like give back to like the fans, and like they're like in their costume and they're like really part of the character themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else you want to talk about, like about Gamers Gambit or comic books or whatever?
I mean, we covered Free Comic Book Day, which I think everyone should really check out. One thing I forgot to mention is we are trying to get the 501st to come, so any Star Wars fans, that is the professional stormtrooper group that comes in and actually dresses up, so we are so pumped for that. And it's going to be all-day events, a lot of also demos, so we're going to have HeroClix demos, DC Deck Builder, so if you want to learn how to play some fun games, definitely be sure to check it out as well. And beyond that, be sure to check out the Gamers Gambit. It's really fun. Thursday nights are board game nights. We have a wonderful staff, and the people that we attract into the store are absolutely amazing. And it's just a wonderful, accepting place for all gamers, comic nerds, and also people who read manga and like anime.
Alright, I think that's it, but thank you for listening to this, and remember, if you're in the area and you like comics, why not check out Gamers Gambit? Gamers Gambit is on Newtown Road in Danbury, Connecticut, and their store hours usually range from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. And I'm Flamehawk.
And I am the Gentleman Snark.
And I'm Kelly. Thanks for having me.
Until next time, stay classy.
See ya.
Hey, this is Flamehawk. I hope you enjoyed our weekly East Meets West podcast.
Be sure to catch us every week on Fridays at 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
I run the American side of things, covering Marvel, DC, Star Wars, and much, much more.
And as always, I run the Otaku and Japanese side of things, from Shonen Jump into other interesting anime news. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Your contribution is always appreciated.
And remember, folks, stay classy.
See ya!